My name is Dr. George Miller. I'm professor and chair of the philosophy department at Lewis University. I was born in Cumberland, Maryland, which is in western Maryland, but I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, and that's where I spent the first 23 or 24 years of my life. I was born in the 1959 and grew up in the 1960s, and then in the 1970s, and those were the years that I grew up. Well, everybody who came over our house always called us the liberal family because they allowed us to say any damn thing we wanted to at the dinner table. So their jaws would drop because we would be talking about anything and everything. And everybody just accepted it at the table, but the people who came over, they never saw such an open environment. I was allowed to have free speech, and I thought it was a great thing, and it helped me develop as a person, and I thought, why not do this with my students, allow them to say what they want to say, up to the point of not hurting me or any other student physically. But I think that's very important in a day where free speech is shrinking. You have to be sensitive, and I can't show a movie with talking 10 minutes. This might be traumatic for you. We've infantilized our students. When I was in high school, I watched, and I was 14. I vividly remember seeing movies of the Holocaust, mass graves. If I did it here, we would have guidance counselors and around to these students. When this is a reality, and we had to accept. And today, students have a hard time dealing with reality. I think we oversensitized our students. We made them babies, and we don't treat them like adults. I mean, there should really be no syllabi in classes. This should be students and teachers coming up with what they want to do, and if the student wants to show up, you shouldn't have freaking attendance. This is your responsibility. It's like your job, right? Oh, well, I'm not going to show up my job. Then you fail. And if you don't come to class, you fail. I did that in college. You know what? I failed. It's still in my transcript. You know what it says? Failed. Okay, but that's good. I own it. But, we always have excuses, The only excuse I will have is that I'm dead. Then I won't be able to do something. But I always sensed other people were really ignorant and stupid, but in college I found that I was able to prove that. Because there's mass behavior. They just do what their hairstyles or their clothes, or the colors of their clothes, how they say it, their cadence. It's all the same. They don't think for themselves. They don't create. Not all people, but most people are like that. And I found this to be a constant. We could be these great things. We could be these great roses. We throw it all out the door. We let other people define us. And that's been a theme that I've returned to throughout my whole life and my childhood. So in high school, I said 3 words. I might have said 2 words in high school. Very, very quiet. I was not the one who got the women. I was the anti-chick magnet, okay? Believe me, I was not good at that. I've never been good at that. But I measured myself as a man that way, and I felt that I didn't stack up because I lived by their standard. Not until I got into college did I start to begin to think for myself. So I was about 18 or 19. I remember taking a world literature class. I understood nothing. My first class, my grade was a 58 3/4 on a test. I failed it, but I thought, I really like this stuff. And I spent the whole summer rereading everything in that class. And I started deep in my understanding, and I just decided I like to have something difficult. I don't like easy stuff. So there you go. It has to be hard. And I've always challenged the students, even to the point where students have hated me because, I tell them I'm a socialist and I have certain religious views that they don't have. And they have, at the end, not everybody, but most of them respect that at least I have a reason for what I'm saying. Because I could go through my classes just being the normal guy, believe it or not. But I think the students need to see that because they say, this is now a possibility for me too. There's resistance, because they've been all in the matrix. Students have a problem, or my students have always had a problem expressing themselves because they're afraid to. They don't realize each one of us is unique, weird, and they want to be in the cookie cutter. They feel more comfortable in the cookie cutter. So I'm getting them out of the matrix, and I'm waking them up, and that's my job, and they're going to fight me because it's something new, and most human beings don't want to see something new. But as we go into November, they are seeing the light, and they are realizing I'm not as weird as they think I am, and maybe I'm the well-adjusted one, and they're the ones with the problems, which I already knew, but they have to come to that realization. I found over the years that I'm able to help people by being myself. One thing that I would tell my students is to not listen to other people and start listening to yourself, what you want to do. And that may seem to be selfish, but it isn't selfish. It is how you become a beautiful flower instead of a dandelion or something like that. I mean, I had one student said, the students aren't used to somebody who is a human being. And I'm a human being with all my flaws in front of them, and I'm not about to hide them because I think that makes them feel more comfortable as humans, because they have not really met someone who is, as they say, way out there as I am. I think they want to be way out there, but they're like saying, I give them permission to be way out there. We make mistakes, all of us make. We can edit them out here, but there are all kinds of mistakes. So anybody, great performance you see, how many takes did that take to get to that great performance, right? How many times, even if they got it in one take, did they have to do in some workshop over and over and over again to get them there? So I'm all about the process. I like the process. I really enjoy the process of writing and being a teacher more than getting the product at the end, which I just really don't care that much about anymore. But it took me a long time to figure out I need challenges. I don't want to do the same thing. I have 2 classes, I won't teach the same way. I want it to be challenging. For me, it's got to be challenging for me. What can I do to get better? Not many people ask that, but I do. That's what makes it meaningful for me. There are 2 different people in life. Some people go for pleasure and some people go for meaning. And you can tell by the vacations that they have, right? I would never go on a vacation to the, ooh, it's spring break, woo! Stupid babe. I would never be caught dead. It would never happen. I need a challenge. So I'll go to India by myself and do yoga, okay? I'll go and walk 185 miles on the C&O Canal in Maryland. To me, those are the vacations have challenges versus going on a cruise or to Disney World and drinking and seeing the same thing. So I think I have most of the people I know go on those kinds of things. Good for them. But I got to have meaning. I want to be challenged. I want to go someplace where there are going to be new things for me, to be exposed to new things. There were challenges when I went to India. But I wanted those challenges. One of the challenges was doing yoga 4 hours a day. Remember, I'm 56, 57 years of age, but it's more than that. It's being in a different culture and like doing things how many people would do that? You just walk in, I'm just right off the street. So not many would do that. I went to laughter yoga. What is that? It looks strange. So I'm attracted to the strange, not because of the strange, but what it is that it challenges me. It's different. And then I can overcome the challenge of things being different rather than doing the same old thing over and over again. My life is full of transformations. So this is just another transformation. Like you talk about, they reinvent yourself. I'm constantly reinventing myself. Now I'm old man Miller teaching. And there'll be senile Miller. I'll get a lot of that. Miller with, depends, we'll have all that. It'll all be a different Miller, but it'll be something that I embrace as we go along. Let me talk about my family life. The students don't know about my family life. And I'm really a crazy man here, and, they think when they come and visit me, they don't realize that at home I'm married. And you guys don't know because you're not married. But when you're married and you have to learn how to take orders. And in most marriages, that's the way it is. So I don't really have that much of a say at my house. I have a little say. And my wife is a wonderful person. I've been married for 34 years, but I'm a feminist. So I married someone who expected me to act a certain way towards her, and I value her. She's very talented artist, very, very successful in her career. And, I'm not only want to support that, but I want to celebrate that. So our life, the way we deal in our house, it's not patriarchal. It's sort of communist. So if we make a meal, all of us make the meal. We clean up, we all clean up. We share the duties, right? And it's not like that in other households. And so my daughters grew up in that. So they grew up with me because my wife went to work. So I was responsible for taking care of them. So I'm the one, I have changed the diapers. It's a diaper to change. I get so mad when that happens on sitcoms, Stick your hand in some shit, okay? You'll learn something, from it. And I've done that. I've changed my daughter, Lewis, but I did that. I took them, I rode around with them when they had their friends, stupid friends. And I had to keep my mouth shut with their boyfriends, and you knew that they were losers, but you had to keep your mouth shut. But I went through all that. And when they were up, I was with them, winning spelling bees and music contests. And when they were down, I was with them. When they broke up, when they were ill. And that was very rewarding to me, because then I can say I was in their life, and now I'm still in their lives. I wasn't all part of their lives, So my older daughter had focalized seizures, and she would have seizures in class. It was very scary. And then my other daughter lost sight in her eye because she had these simulated brain tumors. So she had that, and we had to go through that, and she had to get a spinal tap. But all that, again, I embrace. All of that, illnesses in my family and stuff like that, have made me a better person. So I want to be there for the good and the bad and the ugly. The two daughters are completely different. My older daughter is more like, my name is Mr. Spock. I'm very cool and rational. And my other one, but they're differently. They have different abilities, but both are really extremely intelligent. But they're very, very different people. My oldest daughter is a lawyer. She passed her bar. She's going for a PhD in philosophy. She recently got married. So she married another woman. She's been, she's gay. And, this is a wonderful person she's married to. And this is where she feels she wants to go. And this is who she is. And, I've always accepted it. And she always said her coming out was very easy. Many people will think because my daughter's gay that somehow so the story goes back way before that. There's LGBTQIA, and the A is ally. I can tell you when I became an ally. I can, tell you. I was 19. I was in a speech class, and they asked me to do an impromptu speech. Everybody had to get up and say something. But the question was, this is 1978, and the question was, would you have a problem with a gay person teaching the class? And I said, the issue is not about a gay person teaching the class, it's about a child molester teaching the class. And I said they're two different things. So from that evolved in, my understanding of that. And when I came to Lewis, not knowing my daughter was gay, one of the first things I did was do a conference on fallacies of racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, and homophobia. So these things, it's a larger question of injustice that I've always been aware of and wanted to do something about. Even when I was younger, I was interested in civil rights when I was like 10 or 11 years old. Yeah, well, I wrote a poem called You Brought This on Yourself about my oldest daughter, about when she was pushed down a flight of stairs at a high school, and she asked for help, and the principal said, we can't be of any help, you brought this on yourself. So from that I wrote a poem, and I've performed that over 700 times at high schools around Illinois, and then also I wrote a play. They found her at the bottom of the stairs, and she had blood on her chin and tears on her cheeks, and 3 football players, anointed, appointed, and baptized by the Church of Latter-day Hate, pushed her down a flight of stairs because she was gay. The teachers in their glass closets counted their blessings and pay and looked and looked and looked. They looked the other way. The old principal told my daughter, we can't be of any help. You brought this on yourself. The play is based on that. So, it's based on that, and it fleshes it out with the whole family of my daughter coming out, and reactions of people in the community and my parents and stuff like that. So it's all in there, but it's done with my own touch. It's autobiographical, and one of the main characters is based kind of on me, but it's also, there's a lot of political points that I make in it. It was amazing. I have to tell you, it was amazing, especially with the fact that my other daughter, my younger daughter, played herself. At the time, she was an actress. She had to audition, but she was fantastic in it. And she said it was the hardest role. She had done like Once Upon a Mattress and stuff. Said it was the hardest role. So we would come and practice here, and Dad, this is really hard for me to do. The hardest thing about it, though, was my mother and father in the audience, because they go through a transformation in the play where they're kind of homophobic and they become a little more open. And I was hoping that they wouldn't be like, oh my God. But I was sitting like in the last row, and I was looking at them like, and they laughed and they thought it was pretty fun. Because even if somebody disses you, if you feel like they put you in the play, you feel like it's better than not being put in the play, right? I've done it different places. So I've actually done it, in won first place at a contest here for guidance counselors. There were different things. But I've directed it and I've starred in it. My youngest daughter says pick it, either direct it or star in it, because it is daunting when you're doing both. Students, I think, connect more that it happened to a real person. Rather than talking about these issues like, well, this is what's happened to gay people, blah, blah, blah. It happened to their professor or whatever and his daughter. And I think that's made a big, big point. I think it makes it personal for them. And I think that's why it's very, very important for them to hear that story. My talent is getting people to talk and to expose them to new ideas in a way that they see that I'm human, I'm grappling with the same issues, and now I give them permission to grapple with the same issues and to be human, because nobody knows the issues, nobody knows the answers. We're all just kind of hanging on a wall, right, every day, and just about ready to fall off. But there's nothing wrong with that, because we're all doing the same thing. We're not perfect, so just accept that we're part of the process, right? Make fun of yourself, enjoy yourself, be comfortable in your own skin, right? I write this at the end of my book, Why India, is being who I am is the most compassionate thing that I can do for other people, because I give them permission to be who they want to be. And I think and I've learned that's the best thing that I have. Even if you don't remember anything that I've done, you'll never remember what a professor will say, believe me, but you'll remember certain monumental things, memorable things, and that's what you'll remember in the main thing. And if I can do that with, whatever small gifts I have, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm Dr. George Miller. I approve somewhat of this message. I'll be like turning to the camera, breaking the third wall or whatever wall it is I'm breaking. The fourth wall, thank you very much. Breaking the fourth wall.